Nigeria's hydrological agency, NIHSA, is concerned on the rise in water levels of the major rivers in the country, telling communities close to the River Niger and Benue banks to be watchful. 11 states have recorded varying degrees of flooding already. The agency reported Shiroro, Kainji and Jeba dams spilling water from its records. All indices that caused the 2012 river flooding in the country have manifested. Since cessation, of course, of the rains is not expected anytime now until September 28th. That's later this month. Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com and on Facebook as well. We've got all our platforms and social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation. Let's get your thoughts in. The Nigerian army says that troops of the Operation Lafia Dole have killed 14 Boko Haram insurgents in a raid and rescued 21 persons in a hideout on Thursday that were abducted by the insurgent group in Goza local government area of Borno State. The troops attained the feat during clearance operations in Goza, suspected to be harboring the terrorists. Senator Alim Dume is demanding action already as terrorists continue to carry out onslaught of deadly ambushes on travelers in Borno. Is the war on insurgents been won or not? Has the focus on the war on terror shifted to politics as the country moves towards 2019 general elections and the cross-carpeting that we've witnessed? What does this mean for the country? The Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, has deducted a total of 5.61 billion naira from the accounts of 3 banks as fines it imposed, of course, on those banks last week. We saw for alleged illegal repatriation of funds from telecoms giant MTN. Standard Chartered, which was debited 2.47 billion, Stanbic IBTC 1.88 billion, and Citibank Nigeria 1.26 billion. Will this deter further repatriation, though, by the telecoms giant MTN? It's prime time here in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. Nigeria's hydrological agency says that the indices that resulted in the 2012 flooding of the rivers Niger and Benue have manifested and is asking people living at coastal areas to be watchful. With floods recorded in about 11 states this rainy season, could the situation get worse? Let's take this report before we get into the nitty-gritty of it.
In its 2018 seasonal rainfall prediction, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency had warned that much water would pour on the surface of the earth between the last week of July and the end of August, unless adequate provision is made to accommodate the amount of water that's running on the surface. Just this week, the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency also came out with a red alert, warning residents of some states, particularly in the South-South, Southeast and North-Central regions, to brace for more incidents of river flooding. According to the agency, both the Kainji and Jeba dams are already spilling water downstream, while the level of water in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital, has already exceeded the corresponding value in 2012. In the face of the latest development, the prediction of normal seasonal rain this year appears to be stretching beyond the normal.
Earlier than normal onset, normal cessation and normal rainfall are found in many parts of the country. Also, dry spells during the rainy season may be more frequent and severe in some parts. while the little dry season in some part of the south are expected to be pronounced.
States such as Ogun, Kaduna, Edo, Anambra, Kano, Katsina and Bauchi have all had their share of the ravaging effects of flooding following heavy rains. The result so far has indeed been devastating. While some have been lucky, others have horrific tales to tell. NIMET's call for caution may have been heeded by just a few, and those who did not have had to struggle with the wrath of nature as their houses are either swept away or they are forced to seek shelter elsewhere until the water subsides. The devastation caused by the 2012 flooding in many parts of the country remains fresh in the minds of many Nigerians, especially those affected. But with the latest alert by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, the flooding this year may be more scary. Perhaps this will be a better time for everyone on the floodplains to prepare for the worst.